Hello students. Previously we have discussed how to file nil return in GST portal and how to create user ID password for first time users and how to add additional place of business in GST portal. Today we are going to discuss how to file composition return and what are the limitations of the composition scheme, what are the eligibility conditions for applying for composition scheme. Let me go theoretically before going to practically. Let we know what is composition scheme definition and what are the due dates and what are the eligible for composition scheme. What are the conditions for availing composition scheme and composition rates and how to file composition returns in GST portal. Definition. As we seen, there will be two schemes in GST. If you are taken a registration, there will be regular taxpayer or composition taxpayer. Nothing but composition scheme. Composition scheme is a simple and easy scheme under GST. Simple and easy scheme in a GST, and they have to pay fixed rate of tax on turnover and the limited who can opt composition scheme. This scheme can be opted by any taxpayer whose turnover is less than 1.5 crore. Previously it was 1 crore. It was amended by the CGST Act. The turnover for opting composition scheme is 1.5 crore. Everyone is not eligible to register under GST composition scheme. Taxpayer whose annual turnover is up to 1.5 crore in a financial year, he is eligible to take composition scheme. There are special category states. For special category states, 75 lakhs is a limit to opt for composition scheme. What are the special category states? Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura. We call it as MA NST, triple MANST. Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura. These are the special category states whose turnover below 75 lakhs can opt for composition scheme. After knowing the limits of the composition scheme, a dealer is required to pay quarterly return if he is taken for composition scheme. CMP-08 will be the form for filing quarterly statement. For example, you have to file quarterly return. There will be due dates and there will be one annual return GSTR 9A. GSTR 9A is an annual return to be filed by 31st December of the next financial year. For example, what are the due dates? There will be 4 quarters in a composition scheme. For April to June quarter, 18th of the July to September quarter, 18th of the October, November, December quarter, 18th of the January, February, March quarter, 18th of the April. Means for every quarter, the due date will be the next month of the 18th date. Who are not eligible for composition scheme? This scheme is applicable if these conditions are not satisfied. Any person whose goods are not taxable under this act is not eligible for composition scheme. Interstate supply of goods is not eligible for composition scheme. If you are in a composition scheme, you have to supply within the state. If you want to sell outside the state, the composition scheme will not be eligible for you. Supplies through electronic commerce is not eligible for composition scheme. Manufacturing of notified goods. If some goods are notified by the government, the composition scheme will not be eligible. And casual taxable person also not eligible. And non-resident foreign taxpayer is also not eligible for composition scheme. He must be in a regular scheme if he is take for registration under GST. A person registered under input service distributor is not eligible, and person registered as a TDS collector, TDS director, These are the 8 points to be discussed who are not eligible for composition scheme. Next, who can opt for compositions cannot opt. These are the same points as discussed above. What are the conditions for availing composition scheme? For example, if you have taken a registration under GST and you are in a composition scheme, you you are in a composition scheme, you are not eligible for input tax credit claimed by a dealer opting for composition scheme. Taxpayer has to pay at normal tax rates if transaction under reverse charge mechanism. If a taxable person has different segments, if there is a different businesses or different GSTs under same PAN, you must be registered as a composition scheme or regular scheme. For one business it will be regular, for one another business there will be composition. It will be not like that. If you have a four businesses in a state, if you want to take composition, you have to apply for four businesses composition scheme only, and the turnover should be 1.5 crore cumulative of the segments of the businesses. Under the same PAN, they must be registered all such businesses under the same collective or opt out from the scheme. If you want to take one regular, the automatically it will convert the remaining segments of the business to regular. So that one point you need to know, if you want to take a business under composition scheme and within a state another business also must be in a composition scheme, and the taxpayer has to mention the word composition taxable person on every notice or signboard displayed promptly at their places of business, and he has to issue bill of supply and not a tax invoice. If he is a composition dealer, he has to issue a tax invoice. He has not to issue a tax invoice, he must be issue a bill of supply. What are the rates for composition scheme? If you have a trader or manufacturer, 1% directly on a turnover you have to pay to government, 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST. If you are a restaurant service other than serving alcohol, restaurant not serving alcohol, there will be 5% of GST on turnover. That implies 2.5 CGST, 2.5 SGST. Within a state only you can supply and you can trade a business if you want to take a composition scheme. If you are providing services, 6% has directly paid to the government and no input tax credit will be allowed. 3% CGST and 3% SGST. Let me discuss practically example 1. If you are a trader, you are selling 1 lakh amount of goods to the customer in a quarter. For example, October, November, December quarter, you have to pay 1% of the 1 lakh. That implies CGST 500, SGST 500. If you are servicing a restaurant and running a business and you have a 1 lakh in a quarter, you have to pay 1250. That implies 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST. If you have any service providing 1 lakh in a quarter, you have to pay 3000 and CGST, 3000 SGST. That implies 6% of the turnover directly to the government. Let we practically discuss how to file these and how to create a challan in GST portal directly. Let we discuss now. We will go to the government portal gst.gov.in. After going to government portal, the return is simple and it's not that much complicated. If you are in a composition scheme, just on a turnover you have to pay tax and no need of maintenance of books of accounts. Directly you have to pay turnover. If your turnover is 1 lakh, if you are a trader, you have to pay 1% of 1 lakh, 1000 need to pay directly to the government. I will log in one of my client and I will file practically the one quarter in GST portal. After going to the dashboard, you need to select the quarter which is pending to file the GST return. Okay. After login, go to returns dashboard. This person's bank is not amended. So you have to, after taking registration within 45 days, bank need to be updated. So I don't have bank right now. We'll file quarterly return. The net was slow, I think. I will connect to router. October, November, December quarter is pending. We have discussed about the due dates also. October, November, December site. We have discussed due dates of the composition scheme. October, November, December means January 18th. Next month of the 18th day will be the due date for the composition return. We have crossed the due date. Till now, there are fines, but in composition return, fines is not taking, so that we can directly file with 1% tax. Coming to returns dashboard, file returns, and select the quarter which you are required to file. December quarter is pending. CMP-08 form is pending. January 18th is the due date. Directly, you don't need to enter sales details total, purchase details total. What is the turnover in a quarter? For example, this person's turnover is 95,000. In a quarter, 95,000 of one person into divided by 2. 475 CGST SGST. One person will be the tax amount need to be paid by the taxpayer. After entering the amount, if there any reverse charge supplies, you can enter here the values and save the draft. After saving, proceed to file the return. You need to pay tax through net banking or through challan. Proceed to file.
After saving the data, there will be ready to file return will be generated. Then after we'll proceed to file, we'll go to directly to page challan. There will be three types of challan to pay: through net banking, through bank neft, and through there we'll see trade challan. 950 we have to pay. That implies 95,000 of 1%. 950. E-payment through counter and neft will pay through e-payment directly net banking. If you have any net banking, will pay through net banking. Generate summary. You have to take net banking, which bank you have net banking user ID password. I have HDFC. Agree and make payment. After entering the password, confirm. Automatically amount will be deducted after entering OTP. Admit. After making successful payment, it will directly reach to the summary. Continue. After making payment, the checkbox will be opened and select the person and file the return. It will be deducted from electronic cash ledgers and file with EVC. If you have DSC, you can file with DSC also. major file with EVC is possible. Same OTP will be sent to registered mail. Verify. Return will be successfully filed. Composition return is simple and filed. Return is successfully filed. Let me see how the PDF will be generated by the department. This is the person and the turnover we have entered 95,000 and 1% of this is 950. It implies 475, 475. Final return has been submitted for the quarter December. Thank you for watching. Further videos also will be uploaded soon.